Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. There are two very broad categories. One is building the product. This is hard and it's multivariate. It can include design, it can include manufacturing, logistics, procurement, and it can be designing, even designing and operating a service. It has many definitions. But in every industry, there is a definition of the builder. In our tech industry, it's CTO, it's the programmer, it's the software engineer or hardware engineer. But even in the laundry business, it could be the person who building the laundry service, who's making the trains run on time, who's making sure all the clothes end up in the right place and in the right time and so on. That side of the sales, again, selling has very broad definition. Selling doesn't necessarily just mean to individual customer, but it can mean marketing, it can mean communicating, it can mean recruiting, it can mean raising money, it can mean inspiring people, it can mean doing PR. It's broad umbrella category. Even with your mind, let's talk about more. Let's talk more about the real estate business. The worst kind of job is someone who is doing a labor to repair a house. Maybe you get paid $10 or $20 an hour. You get to people house, your boss demands you are there at 8 a.m. and you repair a piece of house here. You have zero leverage, you have some accountability, but not really because your accountability is to your boss, not to the client. You don't have any real specific knowledge since what you are doing is labor. Lots of people can do. You are not going to get paid a lot. You are getting paid minimum wage plus a little bit for your skill and your time. Next level up might be the general contractor working on the house of for the owner. They may be getting paid $50,000 to do the whole project. Then they are paying the labor $15 an hour and they are keeping the difference. In general, contractor is obviously a better place to be, but how do we measure it? How do we know it's better? We well know it's better because this person has some accountability. They're responsible for the outcome. They have the sweat at night if things aren't working. Contractors have leverage through laborers working for them. They also have little bit more specific knowledge how to organize team, make them show up on time, and how to deal with city regulation. The next level up might be a real estate developer. A developer is someone who is going to buy a property, hire a bunch of contractors, and transform it into something higher value. They probably have to take out a loan to buy a house or go to investors to raise money. I don't know. Developer takes on more risk, more accountability, has more leverage, and needs to have more specific knowledge. They need to understand fundraising, city regulations, where the real estate market is headed, and whether they should take the risk or not. It is more difficult. The next level up might be someone who is managing money in a real estate fund. They have an enormous amount of capital leverage. They are dealing with lots of developers, and they are building huge amounts of housing inventory. One level beyond that might be somebody who says, actually, I want to bring the maximum leverage to bear in this market and the maximum specific knowledge. That person would say, well, I understand real estate and I understand everything from basic housing contract constructions to building properties and selling them to how real estate markets move and thrive. And I also understand the technology business. I understand how to recruit developers, how to write code, and how to build a good product, and understand to raise money from venture capitalists, how to return it, and how all that works. Obviously, not a single person may know this. You may pull a team together to do it with each have different skill sets, but they combine entity would have specific knowledge in technology and in real estate. It would have massive accountability because the company's name would be a higher risk, higher reward effort attached to the whole thing. A person would devote their life to take it into a significant risk. It would have leverage in code and lots of developers. It would have capital with investors putting money in and the founders own capital. It would have some of the highest quality labor you can find, which is high quality engineers, designers, and marketers who are working on the company. Then you may end up with a Trulia, Redfin, or Zillow company, and then upside could potentially be in the billions of dollars or the hundreds of dollars. Each level has increasingly leverage, increasing accountability, increasingly specific knowledge. You are adding in money-based leverage on the top of a labor-based. Adding in cost-based leverage on top of money and labor allows you to actually create something bigger and bigger and get closer and closer to owning all the upside of not just being paid a salary. You start as a salaried employee, but you want to work your way up to try and get higher leverage, more accountability, and specific knowledge. Combination of this over a long period of time with the magic of compound interest will make you wealthy. The one thing you have to avoid is to risk of ruin. Avoiding ruin means stay out of jail, so don't do anything illegal. It's never worth it. It's not worth it to wear an orange jumpsuit. Stay out of that catastrophic loss. Avoiding ruin could also mean you stay out of things that could physically dangerous or hurt your body. You have to watch your health. Stay out of things that could cause you to lose all of your capital, all of your savings. Don't gamble everything on one go. Instead, take rational optimistic bets and big upside. Earn with your mind, not your time. Get paid for your judgment, choosing what kinds of job, careers, or fields you get into, and what sort of deals you are willing to take from your employer will give you much more free time. Than you don't have to worry as, as much about time management. I would love to be paid purely for my judgment, not for my any work. I want a robot capital or computer to do the work, but I want to be paid for my judgment. I think every human should aspire to be knowledgeable about certain things and be paid for our unique knowledge. We have so much leverage as is possible in our business, whether it's through robots or computers or what have you. Then we can be master of our own time because we are just being tracked on outputs and not inputs. Imagine someone comes along who demonstrably has slightly better judgment. They're right. 85% of the time instead of 75%, you will pay them 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, whatever it takes. But 10% better judgment steering a 100 billion ship is very valuable. CEOs are highly paid because of their leverage. Small difference in judgment and capability really get amplified. Demonstrated judgment credibility around the judgment is so critical. Warren Buffett wins here because he has massive credibility. He has been highly accountable. He has been right over and over in the public domain. He has built a reputation for very high integrity, so you can trust him. People will throw infinite leverage behind him because of his judgment. Nobody asks him how hard he works. Nobody asks him when he wakes up or when he goes to sleep. They are like, Warren, just do your thing. Judgment, especially demonstrated judgment, with high accountability and clear track record, it's critical. It's critical. We waste our time with short-term thinking and busy work. Warren Buffett spends a year deciding and a day acting the act last gets just from being marginally better, like running a quarter mile a fraction of a second faster. Some people get paid a lot more, orders of magnitude more. Leverage magnifies those differences even more. Being at the extreme in your art is very important in the age of leverage. Solve play, get prioritize and focus. I have encountered plenty of bad luck along the way. The first little fortune I made, I instantly lost in the stock market. The second little fortune I made, or should have made, basically got cheated out of my business partner. It's only the third time around that have been a charm. Even then, it has been a slow and steady struggle. I haven't made money in my life in one giant payout. It has always been a whole bunch of small things piling up. It's more about consistently creating wealth by creating business, creating opportunities, and creating investment. It hasn't been a giant one off thing. My personal wealth has not been generated by one big year. It just takes up a little bit, a few chips at a time, more options, more business, more investments, more things I can do. Thanks to the interest, opportunities are massively abundant. In fact, I have too many ways to keep money. I don't have enough time. I literally have opportunities pouring out of my ears and I keep running out of time. There are so many ways to create wealth, to create products, to create business, and to get paid by the society as a byproduct. I just can't handle them all. Value your time at an hourly rate and ruthlessly spend to save time at that rate. You will never be worth more than you think you are worth. No one is going to value you more than you value yourself. You just have to set just have to set a high personal hourly rate and you have to stick to it. Even when I was young, I just decided I was worth a lot more than the market thought I was worth, and I started treating myself that way. Okay. Always factor your time into every decision. How much time does it take? It's going to take you an hour to get across town to get something. If you value yourself at $100 an hour, that's basically throwing $100 out of your pocket. Are you going to do that? Fast forward to your wealthy self and pick some Fast forward to your wealthy self and pick some intermediate early rate. For me, believe it or not, back when you could have hired me, which now obviously you can't, but back when you could have hired me, this was true a decade ago or even 2 decades ago, before I had any real money. My early rate I used to say myself over is $5,000 an hour. Today, when I look back, really it was about $1,000 an hour. Of course, I still ended up doing stupid things like arguing with the electrician or returning the broken speaker, but I shouldn't have. I did a lot less than any of my friends would. I would make a theatrical show out of throwing something in the trash pile or giving it to a Salvation Army rather than trying to return it or handing something to people rather than trying to fix it. I would argue with my girlfriends and even today with my wife. I don't do that. It's not a problem that I solve. I still argue that with my mother when she hands a little to do. I just don't do that. I would rather hire you an assistant. This way, true even when I don't have. Another way of thinking about things is if you can outsource something or not do something for less than your hourly rate, outsource it or don't do it. If you can hire someone to do it for less than your hourly rate, hire them. That even includes things like cooking. You may want to eat your healthy home cooked meals, but if you can outsource is do that instead. Set a high hourly aspirational rate for yourself and stick to it. It should seem and feel absurdly high. It doesn't. It's not high enough. When whatever you pick, my advice to you would be to raise it. Like I said for myself, even before I had money for the longest time, I used $5,000 an hour. And if you extrapolate that out into what look like an annual salary, it's multiply millions of dollars per year. Ironically, I actually think I have beaten it. I'm not the hardest working person. I'm actually a lazy person. I work through burst of energies where I'm really motivated when something I actually look at how much I have earned per actual hour that I have put. It's probably quite a bit higher than that. Can you expand on your statement if you secretly despise wealth? It will elode you. Okay, this is the part that it's actually like it's he's saying like that instead of like wasting your time in going to the store, getting the groceries, making food, healthy food, or like doing daily tasks, simple tasks. Instead of doing it yourself, hire someone because by the time you put on those time on your work, you have more returns rather than doing it yourself. Like uh, instead of let's say I have to work 2 hour on a how should I put this? Let's say yeah, let's say I am working 9 to 5, and I after 5, I it's like I have 6, 7, 8. I have 6 to 7 to 8. I have 2 hours of free time. Like my shift is over, and instead of going to home, instead of going home, I would rather like work 2 hours more and get paid for that 2 hours or learn for 2 hours. It's like I'm learning something or doing something or actually working something and getting paid. Rather than I would be like go home at 5, 6, 7, like 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. I would like get to the grocery store, make food for myself, and I would actually waste a lot of time, right? Then instead I would just order something for myself from Swiggy or Zomato, right? So that makes more sense than like making food, going to the grocery store, stocking up the stocks, like what I need today, vegetables, and it's like wasting more time, I think. And I also watched a video where Alex Hormozes said the same thing. Like he ate Chipotle for like 1 year or something. I actually don't know, but he actually ate outside and got more in return for the time that he worked on. Like instead of making food, he worked on something he was supposed to work on, and instead he ate food outside rather than making himself or wasting time, and then got paid for that work, and the return is more than you think of, like something. It is like that only. Yes. And like that's why these people hire that's why like these people hire people for every single thing, like making food, like uh, like cleaning, and it's all like very basic, like but still like going to the grocery store, making food, and like they also have people to like shop them for like shopping for clothes. They also have people like that, uh, making investment, like every single thing is like they are not doing themselves. There is always someone else doing it for them, and they are just uh, paying that person. Let's say I am interested in stock market, I am interested in crypto, I am also interested in the let's say other investment activities, gold, silver, and so there are so many opportunities like for investment. So instead of learning what is the instead of doing a course, like, or instead of studying stock market, instead of studying crypto market, instead of studying gold investments and other activities, I will just hire 1 or 2 person that would study, or let's say they have expertise in their field, or they know have very specific knowledge. I would just give them like this is 50,000, take your cut and invest my money, rather than I would spend hours like 2 or 3 hour every day for 1 week, or study which stock is actually good, and which crypto is going to boom in the future, instead of studying like this crypto company is solving this specific problem, then I should invest. Like it's like there is also like a risk if it would work or not. It's like I would just hire someone who knows balls, right? Who knows their balls, and I would just pay them. Okay, this is your share. Take your commission, whatever it is, and invest some my money. It's just like there is so much of big market and career of like what advisor. Like it's a big market advisor. There are financial advisor. There are stock advisor. So many types of advisor in the market, like real estate advisor, investment advisor. That's why they get paid so much of money, because they have specific knowledge. I know this, right? I know this from a long time. I'm just trying to explain. So let's say like if I am starting. and I have some amount of money that I have made, and I'm starting my career in field, right? So if I make, let's say, minimum 10,000, so how can I invest? Let's think of its ways. First thing I can do is like 10,000. It's like a very basic and minimum, I think, for me right now. 10,000. Like, so how can I invest? So I would just, without with my knowledge, let's say I would spend to 1,000 in an 1 or 2,000 in SIP. Let's say 2,000 in SIP. 1,000. It's like, let's say 1,000 in crypto market, but it's like I don't have any knowledge, right? So I would ask a friend like who know computer, who have a computer science degree and knows what he's doing. So I would like just ask him like that, and I would invest some amount of money for also. And for also, let's say 3,000 I have invested. That should be enough, like, because 6,000 to I need for myself, right? Also, I have to pay the rent or manage expenses, eating food and basics, uh, as basic essential things, right? So I think 10,000 is not enough for me. Actually, have a question. Let's Google it. Okay. So, can you explain your statement if you secretly despise wealth? Which would be- If you get into a relative mind, you will always going to hate people who do better than you. You're always going to be jealous or envious of them. They'll sense those feelings when you try to do business with them. When you try and do business with somebody, if you have any bad thoughts or any judgments about them, they will feel it. Humans are weird to feel what the other person deep down inside feels. You have to get out of a relative mind. Literally being anti-wealth will prevent you from becoming wealthy, because you will not have the right mindset for it. You won't have the right spirit, and you won't be dealing with the people in the right level. Be optimistic, be positive. It's important. Optimistic actually do better in the long run. About a year ago, I also watched like a video where they were talking about like REITs or something like real estate investment trust, something like that. It's like a fund where it's like we just invest and they invest our money in real estate. So there are only like three or four investment trust in India. Like so, I was actually watching them and I totally forgot about them. I was just checking like is actually worth it, and there are only five. This like only five. I was like, why there are only five publicly registered and totally registered investors? There may be more. Someone like doing this because there could be more people, but as of now, on investment platform there are only five. Uh, the business world has many people playing zero sum games and few playing positive sum games, searching for each other in the crowd. There are fundamentally two huge games in life that people play. One is the money game because money is not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to solve all of your money problems. People realize that so they want to make money, but at the same time, many of them deep down believe they can't make money. They don't want any wealth creation to happen, so they attack the whole enterprise by saying, well, making money is evil, you shouldn't do it. But they are actually playing the other game, which is the status game. They are trying to be high status in the eyes of other people watching by saying, well, I don't need money, we don't want money, status is your ranking in social hierarchy. Wealth creation is an evolutionary vision positive sum game, status is an old zero sum game. Those attacking wealth creation are often just seeking to status is a zero sum game. It's very old game. We have been playing it since monkey tribes. It's hierarchy, hierarchical. Who's number one, who's number two, who's number three. And as number of three to number two has to be moved out of that slot. So status is a zero. Politics is an example of status game. Even sports are an example of status games. To be a winner, there must be a loser. I don't fundamentally love status games. They play an important role in our today. So we can figure out who is in charge, but fundamentally you play them because they are unnecessarily evil. The problem is to win at a status game, you have to put somebody else down. That's why you should avoid status game in your life. They make you into an angry, combative person. You are always fighting to put other people down, to put yourself and the people you like up. Status games are always going to exist. There is no way around it, but realize most of the time when you're trying to create wealth, you are going to attacked by somebody else. They're trying to increase their own status at your expense. They are playing a different game and it's a wrong game. It's a zero sum game instead of positive sum game. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What is the most important thing to do for younger people starting out? Spend more time making the big decisions. They are basically three really big decisions you make in your action. Where you live, where you with and what you do. We spend very little time deciding which relationships to get into. We spend so much time in a job, but we spend a little time deciding which job is which job to get into. Choosing the city we live in can almost completely determine the trajectory of life. But we spend a little time trying to figure out what city to live in. Advice to a young engineer considering moving to San Francisco: do you want to leave your friends behind, or to be the one left behind. We're going to leave the San Francisco thing. I am actually seeing a lot from past 1 month actually on obviously X platform. Like there is always someone building and creating in that city. It's like, let's say, the in India we have a tech hub of tech hub in like Bangalore, right? It's like Bangalore this, Bangalore that. It's a very tech where there are tech millionaires, billionaires. There is always startups in Bangalore and like something like that. And it's the same way for US. It's like San Francisco, like a biggest tech hub. You have to say no to everything and free up your time so you can solve the important problems. Those three are probably the three biggest ones. What are one or two steps you take to surround yourself with successful people? Figure out what you are good at and start helping other people with it. Give it away, pay it forward. Karma works because people are consistent on a long enough time scale. You will attract with your project. But don't measure your questions will run out of your count. An old boss once won. You'll never be rich since you're obviously smart, and someone will always offer you a job that's just good enough. How did you decide to start your first company? I was working at this tech company called At Home Network, and I told everyone around me, my boss, coworker, my friends in Silicon Valley, all of these other people are starting companies. Looks like they can do it. I'm going to start a company. I'm just here temporarily. I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't actually mean to trick myself into it. I wasn't a deliberate calculated. I was just venting, talking out loud, being overly honest. But I didn't actually start a company. This was in 1996. It was much scarier, more difficult proposition. Start a company then. Sure enough, everyone started saying, "What are you still doing here? I thought you were leaving this to start a company." And wow, you are still here. I was literally embarrassed starting my own company. Yes, I know some people aren't necessarily ready to be entrepreneurs, but long term, where did you come up with this idea? The correct logical thing to do is for everybody to work for somebody else. It is a very hierarchical model. Find work that feels like play. Humans evolved as hunters and gatherers, where we all work for ourselves. It's only at the beginning of agriculture we became more hierarchical. The Industrial Revolution and factories made an extremely hierarchical because one individual couldn't necessarily own or build a factory. But now, thanks to the internet, we are going back to an age where more and more people can work for themselves. I would rather be an failed entrepreneur than someone who never tried. Because even a failed entrepreneur has the skill set to make it out of their way. There are almost 7 billion people in this planet. Someday, I hope there will be almost 1 billion companies. I learned how to make money because it was necessity. After it stopped being necessary, I stopped caring about it. At least for me, work was a means to an end. Making money was a means to an end. I'm much more interested in solving problems than I am making in money. And end goal, I would just lead to another goal. We just play games in life. When you grow up, you are playing the school game, you are playing the social game, then you are playing the money game, and then you are playing the status game. These games just have longer and longer and longer lived horizons. At some point, at least I believe, these are all just games. They are all games where the outcomes really stops mattering once you see through the game. Then you just get tired of games. I would say I'm at the stage where I am just tired of games. I don't think there is any end goal or purpose. I'm just living life as I want. I am literally just doing it moment to moment. I want to be off hedonic treadmill. What you really want is freedom. You want freedom from your own money problems, right? I think it's okay once you can solve your money problem either by lowering your lifestyle or by making enough money. You want to retire, not retirement at 65 years old, sitting in a nursing home collecting a check. Retirement, it's a different definition. What is your definition? Retirement is when you stop sacrificing today for an imaginary tomorrow. When today is complete, in and of itself, you are retired. How do you get there? Well, one way is to have so much money saved to your that your passive income without your lifting finger covers your burn rate. A second is Second is you just drive your burn rate down to zero. You become a monk. Third is you are doing something you love and you enjoy it so much. It's not about money. So there are multiple ways to retirement. The way to get out of the competition trap is to be authentic. To find a thing you know how to do better than anybody. You know how to do it better because you love it, and no one can compete with you. If you love to do it, be authentic, and then figure out how to map that to the what society actually wants. Apply some leverage and put your name in. You take the risk, but you gain the rewards. How ownership and equity in what you are doing just crank it up. Did your motivation to earn money drop after you became financially independent? Yes and no. It did in the sense that the desperation was gone. But if anything, creating business and making money are now more of an art. Whether it's commerce and politics, history remembers the artist. Art is creativity. Art is anything done for its own sake. What are the things that are done for their own sake? There is nothing behind them. Loving somebody, creating something, playing. To me, creating business is play. I create business because it's fun, because I'm into the product. I can create a new business within 3 months, raise the money, assemble team, and launch. It's fun for me. It's really cool to see what can I put together. It makes money almost as a side effect. Creating business is the game I became good at. It's just my motivation has shifted from being goal oriented to being artistic. Ironically, I think I'm much better at it now. Even when I invested, it's because I like the people involved. I like hanging out with them. I learn from them. I think the product is really cool. These days, I will pass on great investment because I don't find the product interesting. There are not 100% or things you can start moving more and more towards the goal. If goal in your life is goal. When I was younger, I used to be desperately to make money. That I have done anything. If you have shown up and said, "Hey, I got a sewage trucking business, want to go into," I would have said, "Did I want to make money?" I would have said, "Great, I want to make money." Thank God no one gave me that opportunity. I'm glad I went down to the road of technology and science, which is genuinely enjoy. I get to combine my vocation and my avocation. I'm always working. It looks like work to others, but it feels like play to me. And that's how I know no one can compete with me on it because I'm just playing for 16 hours a day. If others want to compete with me, they are going to work and they are going to lose because there is not going to do it for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. What was your figure when you were thought you were financially safe? Money is not the roof of heaven. There is nothing evil about it, but the lust for money is bad. The lust for money is not bad in a social sense. It's not bad in the sense of you are a bad person. Lusting for money, it's bad for you. Lusting for money is bad for you because it is a bottomless pit. It will always occupy your mind. You will love money and you make it. It's there is never enough. There is never enough because the desire is turned on and it doesn't turn off at some number. It's fallacy. We think it turns off some number. Oh yeah, I will literally stop making money at a certain x amount of money. It doesn't work like that. Mm, The punishment for the love is money is delivered at the same time as the money. Money as money. Okay. As you make money, you just want even more, and you become paranoid and fearful of losing what you do have. There is no freedom. You make money to solve your money and material problems. I think the best way to stay away from the constant love of money is not to upgrade your lifestyle as you make money. It's very easy to keep upgrading your lifestyle as you make money. But if you can hold your lifestyle fixed and hopefully make your money in a giant lump sums as opposed to a trickle at time, you may get far ahead. You actually become financially free. You make your money in a giant lump sums as opposed to a trickle at a time. You won't have time to upgrade your lifestyle. You may get so far ahead, you actually become financially free. Another thing that helps, I value freedom above everything else, all kinds of freedom. Freedom to do what I want, freedom from things I don't want to do, freedom from my own emotions or things that may disturb my peace. For me, freedom is my number one value. To the extent money buys freedom, it's great, but to the extent it makes me less free, which it definitely does at some level. As well, I don't like it. The winners of any game are the people who are so addicted they continue playing even as the marginal utility from winning decline. Do you have to start a company to be successful? The most successful class of people in Silicon Valley on a consistent basis are either the venture capitalists because they are diversified and control what used to be a scarce resource, or people who are very good at identifying companies that have just fit product market fit. Those people have the background expertise and reference those companies really want to help scale. Then they go into the latest Dropbox or the latest Airbnb. The people who were at Google then joined Facebook when it was 100 people, and then joined Stripe when it was 100 people. I don't know how to do this, and yet called Jim Breyer, venture capitalist, and found an SL partner. And Jim Breyer said, "Well, I have this really great head of product at this other company, and you need this person." Those people tend to do the best risk adjusted over a long period of time, other than venture investors themselves. Some of the most successful people I have seen in Silicon Valley had breakouts very early in their careers. They got promoted to VP director or CEO or started a company that did well fairly early. If you're not getting promoted through the ranks, it gets a lot hard to catch up later in life. It's good to be a smaller company early because there is less of an infrastructure to prevent early promotion. For someone who is early in their careers or even maybe even later, single most important thing about a company is the alumni network you are going to build. Think about what you will work with and what those people are going on to do. How to get lucky. What do you say? Get rich without being lucky. I also actually read the psychology of money, right? So I actually don't remember very well, but I was kind of bored after completing it half, right? So because he was talking about this, how Mark Zuckerberg got the idea, how Bill Gates got the whole thing for the Microsoft Live. So there were stories about different billionaires, right? But this is slightly different because where he is only talking about his way of knowledge, his way of thinking, his way of work, like he's only explaining his way of things. That is actually good way to say that you have very specific knowledge, and that's why it's kind of different from that financial book. But this is not a financial book, right? It's more about wealth creation and happiness. Like that's the title of the book was. So let's see that how, because there is also like so many pages remaining, and it's actually very uh, kind of big book, because there are literally like I thought that it's a small, like I could complete it in, if I be consistent, in 1 week or something. But as my I'm reading less right now. Only like I have read like 10 pages, not even 10, I think. But let's say minimum 10, then it is going to be much more difficult for me to complete it in within a week. So I'll just, from tomorrow, like I would like, so instead of taking up a target like read 10 pages, or I will just stop right when I want, because if I continue, if I'm not interested, or my mind is somewhere else and I'll just reading, so it's like I'm just completing my task of reading, or I'm just reading for the reading sake, not for the output, right? Like if I'm read, I have to put on the work and get the output. So I I'll just do that. Like I will read until like when I think I like it, or I will just stop when I want, because that's good enough for me. Because otherwise, I will get bored and I would never pick a book again. It's like I have seen this same thing happen to me, because I was reading Book of Five Rings. Also, I was reading another book. I totally forget about. It's like I was like, no, I was just skipping and reading for the reading sake. That's why. That's why I was like, let's take up a bamboo stick or something and let's just practice, because if I'm just reading that thing, it's not going to make sense, right? So that's why I took up a bamboo, and I was like, let's just read and practice at the same time. Okay, that should be enough for today. Also, I made some, like I was like a habit tracker or something for myself, and it's not going well, I think. Because what is today's date? It's 4 now. It's 4 November? Yes, it's 4 November. So I would, okay. because I actually made this because it's like if I at the end of the day, if I just have to tick mark something that I did in the whole day, I would feel something like, yeah, I actually did something. So I was like, instead of not doing anything, let's do something. So this way I can also like complete my basic tasks. It's not definitely going to work like for every time, but sometimes, some days it just work fine. Also, the year is about to end. It's only like 30 days of December and only 2 months. And let's cut this 4 days. The year is about to end. It's just times move so fast right now. It feels like that. So also today the weather is very nice again today. And it's cloudy and there is not much for sun today. It's not hot because it's right now 11:30 a.m. and it's not hot because otherwise it could have been like so much of like warm and I couldn't like it was not like possible for me to sit even here. It could be like I was all sweaty and all. Felt sweaty. Okay. The weather is good. That's what I was trying to say. Anyways, so let's cut this right here and I will continue later today or tomorrow. But for right now, bye.